Yo, what is happening, everybody? Happy Thursday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the weather. I've got, we're just doing a little walk and talk here, so excuse me if you hear a horn or if you get a little wind back up here in the mic, but, okay. Today's thoughts. I want to talk to you about leadership today. And the reason I want to talk to you about leadership is one of my favorite things to do is develop leaders, like developing people. Like I love, I've worked with Kyle and Nolan these last 10 years and I've seen them become better leaders, right? Like I've become a better leader, but I've seen them like take ownership and take pride in becoming a leader in their own way, right? And I don't coach people to become a leader like me. Everybody's got their own style of being a leader and how to lead and how to communicate, right? Like not everybody, again, it is supposed to be like an individual, like this is how I like to lead, this is how I like to communicate. So that is totally okay. Now, of course, when you're learning from me and the way I like to it, obviously there's going to be a little bit more of like here's how I would do it. But anyways, that's not the point. I love leadership. I love working with people. I love seeing people become better communicators, better leaders. I love it when people look up to you. I love it when, and I'm not from an ego standpoint, like just from like when people can believe in you and trust in what you are saying you are going to do, right? Like the last episode we were talking about, do what you say you're going to do, right? So to become a good leader and all of these skills, it's very fun to me to work on my own leadership skills and to empower a team and to get people to all come behind shared vision and really go for it and get that team buy-in. And anyways, these are just things that I enjoy. So developing leaders, I've got like kind of, I don't know, maybe a couple things. We'll see where this goes. In order to be a good leader, let's start with that. And this is just my current, view of this, right? Just a couple things. I'm not going to everything that it takes to be a great leader, but you need to communicate well. And this is something that I'm working on as a leader to this day. You have to be able to communicate well. The team needs to know where they're going and why they're going there. And this is something that we're constantly working on. With rapid growth and expansion over the last 8 years, really the last 6 years since COVID, we've grown. Our team's gotten bigger, right? Which means sometimes the vision doesn't always trickle down, right? We don't always get the full details to everybody. And again, if you're listening to this, I apologize. That is something we are actively working on doing. One step we're trying to do is one very small step we're trying to do is our weekly emails. So that way everybody's kind of in touch and understands what all the companies are doing. But communication, very important. Your team needs to be able to believe in you. They need to be able to trust in you. They need to be able to know what their, what is their, what do you expect of them? What is their goal outcome for the day, for the week? What is their position really involved, right? That's good, clear communication. For leadership, you need to lead by example in everything that you do. And I always go back to health and fitness. Having that dialed in and I like to think about this because 7 years ago, 6 years ago, I don't know, there was, again, I'm 28 now, right? When I was younger, there was more maybe we're going to drink on a Tuesday night. Maybe we're going to sleep in a little bit on Wednesday, right? There was more lack of leadership at that time than there is now. I do really believe leading by example. I have to work hard. I have to be up earlier. I have to go the extra step. I have to be willing to, take that phone call 8 o'clock, whatever, right? I'm the leader. I have to, that is what is on my shoulders, right? Everybody has to be able to count on me and I, in return count on them. But it is important to be a good leader. Now, a good leader also does a good job of taking in everybody else's, listening to everybody, right? So not only being a good communicator, but being a good listener is very important. Arguably probably more important than being a good communicator, right? I have to be able to listen to people. I don't even want to say I. This is just a general leadership conversation. We have to be able to listen to people. We have to be able to hear what people are saying. We have to hear what people want, right? And so this is another important thing. And I think the reason, I'll back up, the reason I'm talking about leadership is, one, I like developing leaders, and two, in our restaurant business, this is a newer thing on my to-do list, my task list, my projects of things we're working on. And I'm enjoying watching leadership develop there. So maybe this episode is kind of devoted towards them, right? So I'm trying to when you do these episodes, when you do these podcasts, it's easier when you're trying to talk to somebody, right? Everybody listens to this individually, right? Like this podcast isn't playing on a, PA system at a school or anything, right? Where hundreds and thousands of people are listening. But either way, when you're giving a message, this is just a totally sidetrack here. When you're giving a message, it's important to talk to the individual. This is a skill that we've been learning and I've read about it. And then when I was out at speaker school, again, to be a good communicator, you're talking to that individual, right? When you're giving a speech and you want to draw the people in, you want them to be emotionally invested and you want their attention, right? You have to pretend you're talking to each individual out there. Again, if I'm on the stage, I'm talking to that person right in front of me, that person in the back. I need to get their involvement, their engagement. So communicating, talking to the individual, shaping your message around that one person. So anyways, going back to leadership, you have to lead by example. There is no such thing as I can't, like that mindset, right? So a good, strong mindset is important to be a good leader. Being a problem solver is a great leadership trait. Like, again, erasing the I can't mentality, because that's not true. Basically there's nothing that we can't do, right? Obviously there's obvious, I can't fly, I don't have super speed, I don't have superpowers, right? But I can't doesn't exist. When people say I can't in our business, I call them out immediately. That is not a thing. That is a roadblock that you are creating. There's always a way, right? So being willing to take a step back, look at the situation, and be a decision maker, right? As a leader. Now, I want to empower people on my team to make decisions. As a leader, I'm not a dictator. I'm not telling everybody this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it. I am trying to figure out, how do we want to do it? How do you want to do it? The question is, how do you see us, how do you see the business best moving forward? How do you want to solve this problem, right? And we want to empower our team as leaders. Leaders do not just come and, again, dictate. We're not just making rules and pointing fingers and saying this or that. We need to empower our team. Now, as a leader, you do need to be a good decision maker. You need to have your team's best interest. Sorry, I'm watching some kids ride around on bikes here. You need to have your team's best interest in mind at all times, right? So what I mean by that is, when I make a decision, I am not looking to make a decision that is going to piss off 99% of my team, right? Probably wouldn't be a great decision to make. And if that was a decision we had to make, we better have talked to everybody on the team beforehand and discussed why this is the decision we have to make, right? And that could be like a big change, right? That could be like we're selling the business. We have to, get rid of 50% of our, layoffs or something, right? Like, there are things that would make the majority of people upset, right? But we have to be a good decision maker on the fly, right? If there's something that pops up, we have to be able to make a decision, again, that our team is going to support as well. And again, if our team does not support it, we have to communicate what is going on. So anyways, some thoughts on leadership. Now, the reason I bring this up, leadership, why is it on my mind? I have made decisions that as a leader, again, there's a lot of pressure on your shoulders. I enjoy every second of it. I'm not asking for any oh, that sounds tough. No, that's not what we're here for. It is difficult for the people who are upset to understand why we made the decision we made, right? Because you just want to be upset. You just want to be like, well, that's not what I wanted. I get it. We can't make decisions all the time that make everybody happy, right? We look at the president, right? No matter who has been in office at any point in time, usually about half the people like them and half the people don't. This isn't a political thing. Unfortunately, you have to stand behind. I don't want to say unfortunately. Regardless of what you think, your president is your president, right? And this is any leadership role. Your boss is your boss, right? You have to stand behind your team, right? Again, I've used politics because USA, it's easy to get very into the weeds. Again, this is not political. At the end of the day, we support our country. We're here for our country. And we have to do our best to understand why. We can't just complain when it's easy with social media and the news these days. Just let's go back to a general manager, a boss perspective, a leader, a general in business, right? It's very easy to think about yourself first. And obviously I'm always over here telling you guys put yourself first. But as a patron, as somebody who goes to a business, and if a decision changes, the business owner decides we're going to make some change at this location, I understand if you're against it, but I need you to take a step back and understand why, and think about, like, why is this happening? Who does this benefit? Why did we make the decision that we did, right? As a leader, you can't always make everybody happy, and you have to be willing to understand that. Not a lot of people like that role, right? Not a lot of people like the decision-making position, because you are going to make some people mad. And again, as a leader, you can't make everybody happy all the time. There are decisions you're going to have to make that might upset some people, and you have to be willing to accept that. Your goal should not be to upset people, but your goal should be to put the business, or again, the situation that you are in. Again, this could be related back to family, right? As a mother, father, whatever. Sometimes you have to make the decision that's best for the family, right? So just keep that in mind. You cannot please everybody as a leader. You cannot, it's just not possible. And as a leader, something else that's important, and this is something that I kind of coach on as well, you need to understand who you are talking to. What I mean by that is, when you're talking to somebody, you need to talk more like that person. You have to morph and shape into that person just a little bit. Not 100%. If I'm, you just have to take over their personality a little bit. And what that's going to do is they're going to trust you a little bit more. They're going to understand, they're going to feel like they're talking to themselves a little bit more. And we all know everybody's favorite thing to talk about is themselves. Like, that's just human nature, right? Maybe other people out there, but so when you're leading, understand who you're talking to and how they like to be talked to. And I'm not saying this as like take advantage of this individual or this person or this conversation. This is just more or less, it's easier to be on the same page and come from the same understanding and know what direction we're trying to go when we're more alike one another. Now, I coach a lot of people on my team that when I'm talking to them, I'm trying to be more like them, but they should also be trying to be a little bit more like me. Like, as an individual, and again, I'm not saying this is not about me. I'm not trying to get my staff to please me by any means. But the more that you act like me when you talk to me, again, you're going to be using my own, I don't want to say trick, my own thoughts against me, right? Like, you're going to be like, wow, this person gets me. They're understanding, they're learning, they're listening, like they're on the same page, we're on the same page, we're moving in the right direction, right? So I try to, again, come down to that person and I try to talk more like them. It's just a good communicator trait. If you can be more like the person you're talking to, it is going to get you further faster. You're going to have more decisions made quicker, right? Like, it's just going to be a better thing for everybody. So these are just some thoughts on leadership. I think, again, this episode is really for a handful of people on my team that are becoming better leaders, that are stepping up, that are becoming, maybe, I don't know. I want you guys to be the best. I want everybody listening to understand what it takes to be a leader. I want everybody to understand, if you don't want to be a leader, like, what does it feel like? Not what does it feel like, but what does it take to be a leader, right? Like, it's not as easy as it sounds. And when we're over here pointing fingers at our boss, at our manager, at this or that, or this decision that was made, it's easy for us to point fingers. It's easy for us to say, how many times are you watching sports? And this is, you watch sports and you're like, oh, I could have done that, or I could have, we should have called, say, your football game, right? And it's 4th and 1, and they end up passing it and they should have ran it, or they should, they went for a run and they should have passed it. How easy is it for us to say, I wouldn't have done that. I would have called the other play. Well, no shit, you would have. But now if they fucking called that play and it worked, you probably wouldn't have that mindset now, would you? So it's easy for us to sit and point and say, that's not how I would have done it, or this or that. It's like, well, you're not doing it. You're not the person in charge. You're not the one that had to stay up all night thinking about that decision. You're not the person that has to go home and think about the decision that they made and why it was wrong, right? Like, that is not the pressure that is on your shoulders. So when you are going to look at a leader and the decisions that they're making, don't be so narrow-minded to be like you are not putting the time and effort into it that person is putting into it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, you are not losing sleep at night over this decision. Maybe you're pissed off now and you're like, oh, but this person, before they made that decision, again, this isn't the 4th and 1 play. They're probably losing sleep now that they didn't get the 4th and 1, the touchdown or whatever, the Super Bowl, right? But, like, there's a lot more behind the scenes that the average person does not understand or does not think about. And I am guilty as well, because I understand it from my business, but there's other businesses that I'll walk into and be like, why the hell did they do that? Right? And I'm just a normal person going into that business. But when I'm talking and walking right now, like to you guys, it's like, well, when I go into those businesses, what I'm trying to do a better job of before judging, I'll back up. I'm probably going to fucking judge them right away, because that's just the natural human nature. You're going to walk in and be like, oh, wow, why did they do that? But again, that's not my business. It wasn't my decision to make. Try to give people the benefit of the doubt and try to, again, take a step back and understand why did they make that decision? Like, what brought them to that? And once you start thinking about like this and that, or, you know, again, all the possible outcomes of the situations, I just think you get a bigger, broad view on the entirety. Like, don't just be the standard employee that is clocking in, clocking out, and I'm pissed off about this and that decision. It's like, well, did you take the time to understand the decision? Did you talk to the boss or the manager or the team about that decision? Like, did you ask them why? Like, did you try to understand? Or are you just trying to be angry about something and you don't care to understand, right? Like, again, just bigger mindset stuff here. I'm going to let you guys go on that talk, that thought. I appreciate you guys so much. Go be the best you can be. Again, this episode, this is just for everybody to kind of think about leadership and what it takes to be a leader. And I don't know, probably a lot of things I'm leaving out here. I'm just, again, on a walk and talk, trying to give you guys some insight. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good, strong rest of your week. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.